Hello everyone. So I think as teachers, the environment we create is very important. Of course, we want our environment to be inclusive, everyone to feel equal, everyone to feel supported, all that. But another aspect of a learning environment is the relationships that we build. So I think as a teacher, the relationships we build with students are very, very important. So the first question is how I will go about building relationships with my students different from relationships I build with myself. So of course with my students, I'm going to keep it appropriate and I want that level of respect to be there. So I want my students to know about me so it shows that I care. Maybe not too much information, but like the basics. But as a teacher, I want to know a lot about my students, maybe about their family life if they're willing to tell me, hobbies, interests, anything like that, because I feel like as a teacher, the more you know about a student, the better understanding you get of the student and maybe how they learn and just their personalities, because all that comes into play when you're teaching and thinking about planning lessons for students and all that stuff. So the next question is how will I help students from different backgrounds build relationships with each other? So from the very beginning, I plan to tell my students my expectations in the classroom, one of those being to respect people. Everyone is different and everyone comes from different backgrounds, cultures, races, all that. So I think respect is something that I really need to teach my students, which I know some of them will know respect, but like respect in the classroom, respect to your classmates, all that is an expectation, and I will hold my students to that high expectation. Therefore, I will help my students from different backgrounds build relationships with each other by doing introduction activities, getting my students to build friendships with each other. And I feel like that can be done through group work. You get to learn a lot about a person through group work, maybe their backgrounds, how they like to work, if they're organized, stuff like that, and that just gives students a better understanding of people. I also think that if students from different backgrounds see maybe one student struggled a little bit more than the other, it gives you a respect for that student, maybe a different respect than you would have from the beginning. And yeah, so I want my students to all have relationships in the classroom. Now I know everyone's not going to have a relationship with each other, but I do want, like I said, that respect to be there no matter what, because all people deserve respect, and I expect my students to give respect that they want. Okay, and the next question is how will you maintain these relationships throughout the year? So I think that in order to maintain these relationships throughout the year, it's important to continue to learn about my students and my students to learn about me and their classmates. I think that continuously building on these relationships will, in the end, lead to strong relationships, maybe ones that will last in different grade levels or the next year. And I want my students to always feel like they can come to me if they need any help with schoolwork or maybe some questions about home life or struggles, or if they're just going through something and need someone to talk to. That's what I want my students to see me as. I'd never want them to be scared to talk to me about something or anything like that. So I think I will maintain these relationships throughout the year by continuing to ask my students questions about themselves, tell them about myself, give them opportunities to share things about their lives to the class, or to do group work and get to know about each other, stuff like that. I think all of these things aid into relationships, and like I said from the beginning, relationships is a huge aspect of a learning environment, and as a teacher, I want my learning environment to be completely the best as it can be. I know there will be struggles, but I want there to be equality, inclusivity, and just a positive learning environment so my students can learn to the best of their abilities. So that is how my learning environment will be in regards to relationships.